Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Positive Sports Report. We are back. I'm your host, Dana Smith. I'm a teacher and coach at Carnegie Middle School, a certified trainer for Positive Coaching Alliance, and the middle school athletics director for San Juan Unified School District. In this episode, we are going to cover how coaches can help athletes work to return to play after injury and how that transfers into our life after sports. And we have an interview with PCA trainer Marc Schmatjen. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about where I've been for the last 5 months. On March 11th, I woke up and was going through my morning routine to get ready to go to school when I realized I was having a stroke. So called 911, got rushed to Mercy San Juan Hospital, which they are absolutely fantastic. Spent 4 days in the ICU and 5 days at Kaiser Vallejo in acute therapy. Spent a couple weeks living with my sister and my brother-in-law until I had recovered enough to come home. And during all this time, I've been really working hard to reach two of my goals that I set when I first went in the hospital. One was to be back at school for the start of the 24-25 school year. That will happen Monday when I return to work with my staff at Carnegie. And my other goal was to be back on the wrestling mat, coaching my team at Carnegie when the season started in November. I'm going to make that one too. So thank you to everyone for all of your support and your help as I've been going through this process of recovery. And with that said, let's roll. As positive coaches, we see athletes as human beings going through a heightened emotional process when they face returning to play from injury. We must see athletes as individuals processing these emotions that are intensified throughout this experience and not as simple cogs in a sports machine to replace when it breaks. Be aware of fluctuations in emotions throughout the rehabilitation process as progress and regression impact the appraisal of recovery. The injury can serve as a life experience that can help them re-examine their outlook on life, participation in sports, resilience, goal setting, and knowledge of their sport. We need to focus on 4 aspects when helping athletes return from injury. That's physical, mental, emotional, and social. We never want to promote athletes training or competing with an injury. We do want to support their rehabilitation plan and support them in reaching their goals for recovery and reassessing these goals as they meet success and setbacks. Mentally, we should include psychological interventions to help injured athletes through rehabilitation. Psychological interventions are beneficial in reducing negative psychological consequences, improving coping, and reducing anxiety regarding re-injury. Emotionally, we can work with athletes to reframe the situation to acknowledge possible personal benefits following their injury. Coaches can promote the unique advantage of the improved ability to regulate emotions, develop through recovery, and work with athletes to develop a strategy to acknowledge and control the many emotions involved with loss of play, healing, and return to sport. Socially, we can foster and support the social support of teammates and staff through group involvement to help our athletes know that the team and coaching staff are concerned not only with their physical recovery, but also for their overall well-being. Injury in sports is inevitable and can be challenging to overcome as athletes work to fulfill their roles in the team and work towards their individual goals. As positive coaches, we should understand the 4 essential aspects of recovery: physical, mental, emotional, social. In that case, we can play a critical role in the athlete's recovery and return to play. Okay, for our first episode back, I have a very special guest. I've been lucky to work with this person, actually be trained by this person as a PCA trainer myself. He runs a great workshop. He's worked with our coaches in the district more than I have, and he will be, I just know, a fantastic guest. Marc Schmatjen, how you doing, Marc?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be episode 1 of season 3.
Yeah, I'm very excited that you're here, and I'm very excited that we are back.
Oh, thank you for
Better.
having me. Yes.
I've definitely missed doing the podcast. One of my favorite things to do, and so it's really good to be back doing it again. Mark is an author, youth, and high school coach, and a former collegiate water polo goalie. He is a native of California who swam and played water polo for Davis High School and played collegiate water polo at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. After 18 years in engineering, Mark began a second career as a child's book author and humor columnist. That sounds like more fun to me. I don't know why, but it
It
does.
really is.
He got a chance to be a baseball and softball umpire in high school and college. After his kids were born, Mark was blessed to be able to coach them in youth baseball with Rockland Pony Baseball. For 11 years with Rockland Lacrosse for 4 years, and for 2 years at the high school level with Whitney High Water Polo. Mark coached his last game in 2022 and is now a full-time fan and part-time high school lacrosse PA announcer. He is passionate about keeping youth sports focused on what's important, teaching young people the skills and mindset to learn from their failures and create their successes in and out of sports now, and more importantly, into their future as adults. All right, you ready for your warm-up question?
That's me. Yes, let's do it.
I picked this one especially for you. You'll
Okay.
see. What author, alive or dead, would you most want to meet?
Oh, that one's easy for me because I actually got to meet him for about half a second at a book signing thing, a talk he was giving. Dave Barry, the humor columnist, long time for the Miami Herald, one of the funniest people I have ever read. And I got to, I tried to, I still do try to model my humor column after his writing style. We're pretty similar. He's much funnier than I am, but I'm trying hard. But
I've been
yeah,
around you. You're pretty funny, so that's
yeah, the 1 minute that I got to spend it with him was great. I would love to hang out with that
that's awesome. See,
guy.
see, nice and easy. Rolled right into it. Now you're
Yeah.
nice and warmed up.
Uh,
All right, you obviously through your bio, you have a very diverse role as a former athlete, parent, coach, PCA trainer. Um, that provides a unique and valuable perspective on positive coaching in youth sports. So, as a parent, how important is it to create a positive experience for your young athlete to remain supportive of our goal of life lessons through sports?
oh, as a parent, I'm not sure there's anything more important when it comes to sports. With your kids playing sports than you as a parent staying positive and being their biggest cheerleader. Simply for your relationship with your kid, uh, it can go so sideways with sports. And if we do it right as parents, it can help our relationship with our kids tremendously, because sports is it's such a fun thing if we do it right, and it's emotional and it means something. It's a really big part of a kid's life if they play sports, uh and to be on the positive side of that as a parent is invaluable, I think, for your relationship. As
You
far
know,
as the life lessons part, um I don't know if you saw the clip. It was a long time. It was a while back. It was a high school football coach from I don't know where, sort of raving about playing time and people not understanding what youth sports is for in high school. In middle school, high school. And he said something to the effect of, 0.5%, like whatever, this tiny percentage of these kids are going to move on to make their living playing sports, but God willing, 100% of them are going to grow up to be an adult, you know,
right.
and so we cannot squander this time and these amazing life lessons that you get through sports, um, and teach them the wrong things, because it's so valuable for when you go out there and you become a parent or an employee or a boss or go to college, whatever it might be, right? There's so many things you get to learn that make you better at that through sports. So yeah, focusing on the life lessons and really trying to only focus on the life lessons as a parent.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything more important.
The word you use there, squandered, and we can even be worse than just squandering it. We can teach the wrong
We
lessons
go the other way. Yeah,
and
exactly.
make it completely negative. And
Hmm.
also the idea of, so you said if your kids play sports, but really when you look at the lessons, they apply to so many other things kids do: school, being in drama, being in a band,
Oh yeah,
whatever the case may be. Those same life lessons exist there, and we wouldn't do some of the things we do in youth sports that we wouldn't do that in drama, or if they're playing in a band with their buddies, or
100%.
we'll do that with sports. And that's kind of where we want parents to be aware, and what are you saying and what are you doing, and take a step back and look at that.
Right,
Are you
right.
behind them supporting them, or are you in front trying to drag them through something that's not positive?
And I think all of us parents would agree that you want them to grow up and play the main team sport all of us adults get to play, having a job,
Right.
right, and they are going to be so much more valuable and thrive in it more with those life lessons under their belt than had they not got this amazing experience of getting to play sport.
Right. If you can learn as a kid how to be a good teammate, that helps you become a better partner, a
Oh,
better spouse, a better parent, a better friend, a better employee. So there's so many things that those lessons go into. It's really
big
important
time,
that we get it right. It really
big
is.
time. Yeah.
So as coaches, how do we keep perspective of those two goals of winning? Because we keep score for a reason.
Right.
We're
It's very
competitive.
important.
Winning and teaching those life lessons at the same time. Kind of that
how do
double
we
goal
how do
of
we keep
coaches.
the perspective as a coach? Probably first thing would be to really know your why as a coach, why you are doing this. I actually I urge coaches in my workshops to write it down, laminate it, and keep it in your glove box. Right. The why you're doing this. Because if you reflect on that for any length of time and write it down, you're probably not writing down so that I'll have the largest win percentage of any uh, elementary school age coach in Northern California,
Right.
nor North America. If that's your why, please go do something else, right? You're not going to be a good coach. So to look at that why, I had an amazing youth sports experience and I want the same for every kid that I can provide it for. That kind of thing, whatever your why might be, to really focus on that. And when you pull up to practice as a coach and you've had a day and you're saying to yourself, now I have to go coach, right? Reading that why can change that into now I get to go coach, and you're going to have a way better practice than you would have if you walked into it dragging, right? Um, so I think that'd be number one for me. Number two um, would be what we always talk about, focusing on the controllables. And you've got we talk about the elm tree of mastery. Your effort, learning, and mistakes are on that control side. I call it when I talk to my players, I call it effort, attitude, and what you do when things don't go right. Right. And if you truly understand as a coach and as a person that those are only three things that you get to control in life, in sports, at school, at work, everywhere, right? Is my own effort, my own attitude, and what I do when things don't go right. Um, if you understand that's all you can control and you're coaching for that, hey, look, kids, this is all you get to control. So why would we focus on anything else? We need to focus on the things that we can control. You're automatically, as a coach, going to be speaking the right language to the kids, right? You're not going to be focusing on the other team. You're not going to be focusing on the matchups, the scoreboard, our record, all the things that you can't control. You're going to be talking to them about the little wins and their personal goals, and what we worked on in practice. That our goal today is to try to put that in practice at the game. All that kind of stuff. And yeah, if you're focusing on the controllables, you're automatically going to be speaking the right language.
Yeah, that's it comes out of my mouth hundreds of times during the season. This control the controllables.
Right. Yeah.
What do we have control over here? Let's work on that.
Right.
I'm a huge Ted Lasso fan. I'm finishing up my 4th time through the series right now. So I love Ted Lasso. And honestly, my little mantra I have going now of onward forward, that's a Ted Lasso line as well. But I'm reading this book called Lead Like Lasso right now.
Oh,
and they're talking about I can't think of the guy's name right now, but another thing about finding out what your why is. And it's this exercise called 5 Whys. Like, why do you coach? Because I want to help kids learn life lessons and become better people. Well, why? Because as they go out into life, they're going to, and going through those 5 whys, you really hash that
drilling down
why out
I like it
into a way that you could put it on a sheet and laminate and put it on your wall too. So
okay.
I just read that. And I thought that was super interesting.
I'm stealing that. If I could turn my computer setup, I'll break everything if I try. But above my door over there in my office, it says I got the believe up on the wall.
Yeah, I'm in my. I have a little office in my wrestling room. That's where I'm now, and I have the same sign up above my door of my office too. I love it. Okay, you have worked with our coaches a ton in doing workshops for our district, and all our middle school coaches are required to go through PCA training once a year. So tell us a little bit about those workshops. And you and I have also talked about some of the newer workshops that are out too. So if you want to touch on that, by all means, feel free, or how they've changed. But
I didn't hear you. We've talked about what?
Just the workshops that we've done with our coaches in middle school. And if you want to talk about some of the new workshops PCA has,
new ones,
and how they've changed stuff too.
Yeah. Well, we got to do one of the new ones with your coaches, the coaching with empathy.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Okay. So San Juan Unified School District middle school coaches are just simply the best. You have the greatest group of people.
Agreed.
And our youngest kid is starting a junior in high school. We do not have, thankfully, we do not have any grandkids yet, but when we have grandkids, I want them to go to San Juan Unified and get coached by these people. They're amazing. Yeah, I have had nothing but fun with your coaches. They all seem to get it. The ones that show up that have never heard of PCA, you can tell when you're talking to them that the light bulb's coming on. Oh, hey, I've been doing that. Oh, hey, I didn't know what to call that. Right. But now I do, just a phenomenal. And I mean, talk about somebody who really wants to be there. The middle school coach, right? Most of the coaches that I've met, they don't have a kid at the district. They don't, right? Like, middle schoolers are special.
Yes.
and to sign up to volunteer to coach them is that's an awesome human being. So just I've loved them. And we've had some wonderful workshops, and they keep coming back. I know they're required, but they keep coming back willingly, which is awesome. The newer workshops, coaching with empathy is one that when we rolled it out, I was a little skeptical, to be honest. I was like, I don't know if this is, where are we going with this? And went through it the first time and said 2 things. I said, I am not qualified at all to teach anybody empathy because I am not naturally empathetic. But through this workshop, it happened after I was done coaching, but I really wish I'd gone through it, 15 years earlier. But it really makes you a better coach. I love it because I tell people that I am not qualified to turn you into a social worker or a therapist, and that's not at all what this is for. This is simply more tools in your coaching toolbox that might not have come naturally to you, just like they did not come naturally to me. And it's so amazing for making that connection with the kid, and especially that kid that is struggling. And to be able to say that, you had that one kid that was going to drop out of sports or much worse, right? And you got to be the person that they came to talk to, right? And helped in a small way or in a huge way. That's your coaching career right there. What else matters, right? Uh,
Right.
so that it's yeah, we've got a ton of new workshops coming out. We just got certified in. Um, we changed our main workshop around to include mental wellness, which is super huge. And so that's going to be great. I haven't done my first one of those yet. We just rolled it out. Yeah, lots of cool stuff. But man,
All right.
I cannot
We'll
say
look at
enough good
doing.
things about your coaches.
Yeah, we'll have to. We should do that one for our workshops this year.
Be great.
I really, and it's funny because you talked about this for yourself when you're doing that empathy workshop, and it is so me too. And what I really have to watch out for is we start listening to give an answer to help
Yeah,
solve a problem. And
right.
so sometimes you just listen,
Yeah,
just shut up and listen for a little
yep,
bit and
yep.
and be empathetic and understand that it's a problem they're going through. And a lot of times when kids or adults are talking to us, they're coming up with an answer for themselves. They're talking their way through it. They're hashing it out in their own brain and talking about it. Does that sometimes you just got to listen, um, and give advice when it's asked for, and be a
Yeah,
little bit more
yeah,
empathetic what our kids are going through. You talk about middle school kids, they go dealing with being in middle school, it's tough enough, but going through 6 classes and other sports and other things they do, and now they're practice and understanding that sometimes wrestling or cross country or track is not their whole world. It's a part of their world.
right.
And sometimes problems from the other parts creep in, and being a little more empathetic to that and how that be part of your coaching as well. I think it's
Oh,
super
100%.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really crucial for especially for any of the coaches that are not also teachers, right?
Right.
You just don't have that same coach mindset about what this kid's going through. You're supposed to show up and perform for me,
Right. Right.
and
Yeah.
that's not how it works.
Yeah. I think that's we generally have about 20-25 minutes in between school getting out when we start practice. And I've become better in that sense of just when they're in there getting their shoes on, just let them be kids a little bit,
Right,
be safe. But I
right,
don't, I don't need to talk to you about wrestling while you're talking to your buddy you didn't see all day. Just
right.
let him hang out.
Yeah,
And when the timer goes off, we start up, we get rolling, and
perfect.
focus on wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
Mark, so I want you to make sure you talk about your writing, where people can find that, and where they can
Oh,
find you on social media, so that they can reach out to you and see some of that awesome stuff.
yeah. Just looking me up on Amazon is really the best way to go. I've got a catalog of children's books. It's been a while since I wrote a new book, but got a lot of elementary school age books. One for the humor for adults, and one called Bullies and Bagels, which is the life altering importance of asking why. So we were just talking
There you go.
about that.
Right back around.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, thank you for that. It's been a fun ride, that's for sure.
Awesome. Mark, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's so good to be back, and I can't think of anybody better to have interviewed than you for the first one back. So thank
Oh
you
my
so
gosh,
much.
well, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be the first back. Appreciate you.
All right. And we'll see you in a little while for a workshop.
Awesome. Onward, forward, sir.
Onward, forward. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you to Marc Schmatjen for joining us on this episode. Cross country begins soon, so check with your school for details. This month's shout out. 5 months ago, my life turned upside down, and I want to thank all the people who helped keep me here. Sacramento County Fire Station 31 for quickly and professionally getting me to the hospital. Mercy San Juan ER and ICU for saved my life. All of you are amazing. And my nurse for those first 2 days, Jana, you kept me positive, made me laugh, helped me understand that I will recover. and pushed me to start my journey. Kaiser Vallejo and Roseville, you've been amazing with my therapy and keep me going through a great positive process, especially my physical therapist, Sabrina. You are a rock star. Thank you for pushing me and challenging me to get better. Family, friends, colleagues, your outpouring of love and support has been overwhelming, and I appreciate you more than you will ever know. I love you all, and I can't wait to return to teaching and coaching. Onward, forward. The Performance Connection supports the Positive Sports Report. Unlock the full potential of your youth or high school sports organization and athletes with positive coaching and mental preparation. Learn how to build an organization based on core values and stay focused, positive, and motivated with help from the Performance Connection. See the services available from the Performance Connection at theperformanceconnection.com. Please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast service and follow us on Instagram and at the Positive Sports Report. Thank you all for being patient with my speech and voice as I keep working to improve. Until next time, let's keep our sports positive.